Don't be the dressing room DJ. Let your pals take care of the tunes. Drive smart. Tam Cowan. What's happening, big boy? You alright?
Aye, brand new.
Good, good. We're just at the BBC Scotland.
Aye.
9 to 5.
I'll take you the wee run. If you would like to put your seatbelt on.
Oh, sorry, mate. Thanks for taking what we're driving, mate? Lovely, this.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a white motor that's an automatic. That's all I need to know. I'm colourblind, so white's easier to find a motor in a car park, and automatic. I can't believe MD would still get a manual motor and farting about the gears and all that, and clutches and things like that.
Good for the environment, though, no?
Eh?
Good for the environment.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Is it? No, is it worse?
No, it's more the electric ones, because this runs in diesel and you're not able to get that much.
By the way, now I can see why the fees went down on off the ball, eh?
Why
all the money's going into this.
No, this was Dougie Emery gave me this. He's got honours in him. I need to say that as a Motherwell fan, you need to have a wee dig at him. You know, he was. I'll tell you one thing. So the Motherwell fans did ever if I go to Dougie Emery, they would have taken him in a minute. But one of the players that everybody balls and shouts at, but you'd love him in your own team.
He's off his nut.
So this is basically the run that I'll do every second Saturday, more or less, when I come out to the BBC at 2 o'clock. Everybody says, can you get to the games and all that? But leave there at 2 o'clock and you just pray that the traffic's all right. Get out of Fir Park with maybe about 10 minutes to spare, and then you just need to leave early after the game. It's amazing that in 25 years, because we've been doing the radio as long as that now, and Saturdays I've never heard the sound of a final whistle, because I've always got to get out to get back in for the show at 5:30.
You must have missed some important goals as well, nah?
Oh, aye, I've missed dramatic equalisers, winners against Celtic and Rangers. It's a sore one, but...
So what do you usually leave, about 70 minutes, 80 minutes?
No, I look at the big scoreboard, and normally about 84 tends to be the number, just so I can shuffle out my seat, get into the motor, and then get back out, because if you get caught in that traffic, I mean, you'll have been at, I know you're mainly lower leagues, but you've been at Fir Park, aye? I've been at Fir Park, but I've won we beat you a couple of times at Dundee, actually. So 84 minutes, so you would have seen David Clarkson getting subbed every 60 minutes then? Oh, absolutely, aye. So it's fine, but it's just that you're panicking about the traffic on the way back, because you wouldn't want to be running late. And it all ever happened once with me and Stuart. If Muller were playing St Johnstone, you know, I could take Stuart out and bring him back, of course. And once we get snarled up in traffic, and we thought we weren't going to make it, and that was the two years. No, it's all right if one is late, but no, the two years. So off we were sweating.
Where is Stuart in the boot? Tied up in the boot next to that rabbit outfit you use in Stratford Park?
He can't drive.
Can he not?
No, Stuart can't drive, and I'll tell you. I mean, I've only, I started 2012 with me.
Well, you only started driving in 2012?
Yep.
Right. How come it took you so long?
Well, started my lessons 1973. But only past 2012. No, I'll tell you how it took. I just never ever drove, Simon, and I actually said, almost as we were walking down the aisle when I get married, I says to my missus, right, if we're ever fortunate enough to have kids, I'll learn to drive, because it'd be very selfish, when it comes to nursery schools and all that, So I just never ever bothered driving. I was the taxi driver's best pal. They
Kevin Kyle
must have made an absolute fortune out of me. Did Kevin tell you about Stuart?
No, tell us. Did he
Wanking
pick him
him
up?
in the motor. He picked up Stuart at his house to bring him into BBC, and Stuart didn't crack a light who he is. And Stuart was embarrassed about that, but he wasn't half as embarrassed when Big Kevin live on our show says, he didn't give us a fucking tip either.
Brilliant.
And how can you miss him in a motor? He must be able to barely squeeze into a motor. But so Stuart doesn't drive, and there was one point, must have been about 15 years ago now, 16 years ago, we were at Graham Spears' 40th birthday party.
Where was that, Buckingham Palace or something?
It wasn't far off it was the Grosvenor Hilton in the leafy West End of Glasgow. And at one point, as I said, it's about 15, 16 years ago, I'm trying to think what age Spears is, but there was me, Stuart, and Hugh Keevans stood having a wee blether, 3, and I says, where else in the Western world would you have 3 guys stood together and not one of us can drive? Because Shug Keevans doesn't drive either. He's always great again, one of the boys. If he was going to, when he was doing the match reports in the paper and that, if he was going to like Pittodrie, let's say it was, I don't know, Aberdeen, Celtic or something, he'd always phone in, who's doing that game? And then he'd basically cadge a wee lift, you know. And Stuart has just never done it. To be fair to Stuart, although Stuart only, he plays this up with me a wee bit, he said that's not really the real reason, but Stuart's dad died in an accident, a road accident in the outside of Perth, and Stuart was only a wee boy. Now, a psychologist would have a field day with that, and maybe say, you know what, that's what put him off, and that's the reason he doesn't drive. But he's got good. I must even name check him. He's got good stout pal Stuart, Mike Mason, who the games that Stuart can get to, because he's gubbed for games at McDermott Park. It's a bit of a shame for him with that. 25 year he doing the show. He's not been able to get up to McDermott Park on Saturdays, but his pal Mike Mason, his pal Mike Mason will come and pick him up if if St Johnstone are maybe at Hamilton Accies or at Ibrox or Park Eder, and he'll pick him up right outside the BBC and take him there. So you can still get to see games.
See when you're talking about Kevin Kelly's size, I must say to you, you're looking absolutely trim. Yeah, you been on the Herbalife?
No, I don't even know what that is. Sounds like drugs. I'd lost a wee bit. It might actually have been your podcast that inspired me, because it was
changing lives.
Folk making a joke about how that if one of my buttons in my shirt had popped, it would have taken your eye out. And it was just a shirt. It's quite a wee nice shirt, but you want to see it on me now. Oh,
baggy.
Hey, it's lovely. It's like a big caftan. But
see your cheekbones.
I think I've lost about. I started September the 1st. I thought, right, that's my date that I'm going to start losing a wee bit of weight. I was just watching what I was eating. I tried going to the gym, but I'm at the gym and I'm chanting the door, nobody answering. And I noticed the sign above it said Jehovah's Fitness. But
tremendous.
But that's all it was, as my wife had told me, was trying to keep away from the red wine. It's far too easy at night, sit down with the feet up in the telly, bolt of red wine, and the thing is, at the minute you've the bolt of red wine, what you're definitely going to have is a big bag of KP dry roasted nuts, and they were the real killer. So my drink, I moved for the red wine a nice wee gin and slimline tonic.
Lovely.
And they flavoured gin, some of them are amazing.
You can't even notice the difference, can you?
Although on the off chance the company's tuned in, I must say Tanqueray is the best.
Always on for a plug. Right, this journey to Fir Park.
Aye.
Must have had some enjoyable ones this season. Boys are absolutely flying in.
No, it's been great. I nearly fell out with a couple of supporters at the recent St Mirren Cup game when it was 4-1 to St Mirren at half time, right? Incredible. I mean, St Mirren had barely scored 4 goals up to that point in the season. 4-1 at half time, and when a half time whistle went, their boos and all that, and we were still sitting third in the league. We've got about 3,000 season ticket holders, we've got barely a bean in the bank, and boo, and I'd wee couple of words with I'll be the first.
So do you have a pop at people?
No, well, not. Oh no, I'm not like one of that. I'm just a Motherwell fan through and through. I do my fair share of booing and shouting and screaming like a dafty as well. But that night, I just thought a couple of boys says, "Get a grip, mate," and it was only half time, and lo and behold, getting back to 4 each, I thought, there we go, But I'll tell you that, I mean, you'll have experienced that with a 4. See if it had just finished 4-1 that night, it'd have been better. See, getting it back to a draw, then getting beat on penalties, that's when it gets really sickening.
Value for money, though, mate.
Oh, it's brilliant, aye. I mean, we made a virtue of that in the programme that week about, you go back to Bobby Williamson's old line years ago about, I think he was meant to shout it at some Hibs fans or something, if you want entertainment, go to the pictures, And we thought, no matter what you see at the pictures, could be anything, crackers like, I don't know, Rocket Man or Bohemian Rhapsody, anything you want. A game of football like that, when you're 4-1 down, get it back to 4 each, the drama of a penalty shootout, you can't beat that. You just can't beat it.
Who missed the pen? Was it Tony Watt?
Tony Watt, he hit one over the bar if memory serves, but it was a rotten penalty shootout. The penalties were dreadful. But Tony's done all right. I mean, do you know him?
I know Tony. I think it would be a good place for him.
Well, what about this theory that there's a lot of Snyders say to me that Oh, Tony, when he goes to a club, 6-8 games, he's all right, and then he falls away. Is that true?
Nah, I don't think so. No, well, down south with Blackburn and Charlton, he done really well for full seasons. So I think
he looks the part, and I think he looks as if he's got a good football brain.
Fingers crossed him, because he has a talent.
And I believe he might have once scored a goal against Barcelona, did he?
No.
But he never mentions it. No, I never mentions it.
Do you still get the buzz going to Fir Park?
Oh God, I love it. I mean, I've gone for. I'm now in my. At the start of this season, it was my 40th anniversary. We're having a season ticket. I got my first one as a 10th birthday present. I was 50 last year, and
you must have been bad that year, were you?
So it's what year?
The year you got that season ticket.
The year I got it when I was well, I'll tell you, that was the Arsene Ali McLeod as manager, and we didn't get promoted, and then season 81-82, which was a great time to capture me, for me to fall in love with Motherwell, and indeed fall in love with football when I was going every week. Motherwell team that year, 81-82, Davy Hayes manager. It's still my favourite season as a Motherwell fan. We ran away with the first division. It's one of the years we were winning 5-0, 6-1, 7-1 every single week. Great players in the team, me, Johnny Gagan, Brian McLaughlin, Joe Wark, Shuggy Sprota in goals. And it was brilliant. We were the highest scorers in Britain that year, and clinched the league. I mind a nice spring night, not even summer, spring night up at Starts Park, midweek game, and we won up there, and then all the Motherwell fans going on the park, and I'd need to check up, but I think we were still in March. It was away the late March, and that was us, we'd won it, you know.
Was Gagan good?
Aye, Gagan.
Brilliant after dinner, isn't he?
Oh, superb. But Johnny got into the greatest ever Motherwell team.
Did
when we had
he
the
slaughters himself for being shite, didn't he?
No, I know, but he was a fan's favourite, and you know what it's like. I mean, sadly there's not enough of them now, but fans love the wee winger in football. You know, they're maybe a bit of a dying breed, but so the fans love Johnny, and it'd be unfair to say that it was the fans that voted for him. It was, you know, boys and girls that had maybe seen him doing his stuff at sportsmen's dinners and all that, and that's why they voted for him. It was because he was absolutely brilliant at Motherwell. Great wee player.
I need to say, my mate seen you a couple of weeks ago, David McLean, he used to play with Stirling Albion in that.
All right.
He seen you and after dinner a couple of weeks ago and says you were tremendous.
Where was that?
You had to apologise to one of the barmaids.
I had to apologise to one of the barmaids. What for?
I can't remember where it was.
That's one of the jokes I do. See,
is it right?
Aye, no. Well, I've got what I call the dearest joke on the after dinner circuit, right?
You tell it?
And boys will have seen me. Aye, it's more a physical or a visual joke, you know. But what you do is, I always like you want good order. See, when you're up doing your stuff, you don't want folks sitting on their phones or sitting talking or anything like that, you know. And I've seen it happen far too often. It's quite rude, particularly when folk have spent a lot of money maybe for a ticket to come and hear you know. And it's like, I mean, I'm guessing it's like when you're playing football with Peter Head, you know, you're not wanting if you've got folks sitting there talking and chatting, it'll put you off, you know what I mean? So
there's only a man in his dug it again.
It's a bit like that at the dinners. But no, what they meant about with the barmaid, I do a joke that always say, right, the barmaids, if they're walking about the tables collecting tumblers or delivering drink, I'll say, look at these barmaids, ladies and gentlemen, they make our job easier by deftly walking in out the tables, meaning you don't get a stampede at the bar. It means we get a bit of peace and quiet. But I says, whatever the lassie's name is, I says, but tell me this, my friend, in 2 words, how much have they given you in tips? And the usual answer is, unless somebody shouts it out first, the lassie will say, fuck all, right? And I say, well, that's terrible. It's always left to me. The boy with the mic, we appreciate the order to get the lassies a drink. So I say, I dig into my pocket, take out some Reddies, and I say, right, here a cheers. She comes up, come on, darling. And then she walks out, I'll pick up like a can of iron brew off the table and say, there you go. Thanks very much, and mind split it with the rest of your pals, right? And then I just put the money back in my pocket. And it always gets a right good laugh, right? Might not know it, we've let the cat out the bag, right? But then what happens is, once the laughter, it's always the same reaction, the laughter dies down, then you get a few going, oh, and I say, boys, we're not finished yet. That is the dearest joke in the after dinner circuit, because a fat lassie went home the night to her dad, her grandfather, her husband. She might say, see that fat specky guy from Motherwell you used to like in the radio? Took the piss out of me the day in front of a crowd of folk, you know. And the guy might, before you know it, want to book my boards, you know. So then what happens, I say to the girls, I say, on you go, and I walk out of the bar with 20 quid, and I say, there you go, girls, make sure you get yourselves a drink, and boys, give them another round of applause, and then that's it.
What a man, love
So
that.
that's what you're man. But I've got to do that every bloody single one.
So
you know?
20 quid a week?
Ah, exactly.
So you take that off your grand fee, you're still getting 990
No, don't get,
quid.
well, exactly. I mean, well, that was the sort of starting money, but but that's that. But aye, so you always have a laugh, a joke, and a carry on in the room. That's what it's all about.
Right, back to the football. Do you look out for St Johnstone results while you're at Fir Park to see how Stuart's team's getting on?
Aye, I've got more than a soft spot for St Johnstone just because of my association with Stuart. And it's been, I'm guilty, what I hate ended day now. I realise I'm just sitting in the middle lane, which is a big no-no. See, that sort of thing, see,
Great
because,
safety, that's what we're
well,
after.
see, because I wasn't, because I, 2012, it means that I missed the very chance of being a joyrider, you know.
Oh, 2012?
When I passed my test.
Oh, right, Not
Aye.
paying attention here.
I know, exactly. But so in 2012 when I passed my test, I was the one to jump in the motor and start going down the park to do skids. You know what I mean?
Kept that for the boxers.
So as a result of that, it meant that I was kind of more mature, responsible driver. So that sitting in the middle lane malarkey, that's not on.
But see, with you and Stuart, have you ever had an argument? Do you argue about football?
I've only had an argument once. One argument in 25 years, which isn't bad, and it was I'm involved with a few charities, and Stuart winds me up about it because I think I'm after an MBE or something like that, you know. But just something that I do. But I was leaving the BBC one night, and Stuart said to me, "You want to go for a pint or go for a wee curry or that?" He says, "I can't. I'm going to a charity do." He says, "You and your charity do, you trying to get an MBE, you bastard," you know. And I says, "Oh, calm down." I says, "Never done anything for boys like me, have you? Charity." And I says, "What you on about?" But I knew what he was on about, Stuart. And he's mentioned it in the show, and I think he mentioned it when we did the podcast with you. He's got really bad eczema, right? Now it can strike a lot of folk. I've got a wee touch it down the bottom of my back. I've got a couple of pals that go that. Exactly, aye. But Stuart's got really bad eczema to the point. He's a wee laugh and a joke about it. No, the first time in the show, he said that between the eczema and the fact that he's into his soul music, that all the boys at the school used to call him Lionel Itchy, right? Cracking nickname. So anyhow, he says, "You've done nothing for boys like me," you know. And I says, "Right, okay, eczema, I'll do a bit of fundraising," and I did. And that's when he fell out with me. Now, with hindsight, I shouldn't have sold scratch cards.
Sharp.
But no, you know, see, honestly, that's just a gag. In 25 years, we've never had a cross word, and it's, I think, as I said to you before, it's because we're like one of them marriages where the husband and the wife work separately for each other, and they're not in each other's pockets, you know. So I literally get in and see Stuart on a Saturday morning, wee cup of coffee at the start to get a wee catch up on what's the gossip's been. Then when we move on to our second cup of coffee, we start thinking about what we're going to talk about in the programme. And then if Motherwell at home, I disappear in the afternoon, or if St Johnstone are within reach, he disappears. We get back for the show at night, and then at 7 o'clock I've invariably got a work thing on, whether I'm speaking at someone or hosting an event or something, and Stuart, he's away back to get his old soul music records on in the house.
Is that what he does on a Saturday night?
Oh, he loves it. Aye, he
researches.
he loves research. Stuart will sit at his computer. He would sit there 7 days a week
That's
at
not
his
research,
computer.
he's on that computer, let's be honest.
no, it is. Stuart sadly can't get an erection now, so he's too old.
See, so that's a busy Saturday for you, isn't it? What are you? Are you a comedian, Tam, or are you a journalist? What are you like?
You know what? You're the first person that's kind of asked me that like that.
Yes,
and
it's
you know
groundbreaking.
No, it is, because folks say to me, Cowan, I'm just wanting to slag you in, like, social media. Cowan, so-called comedian. And I think, who called me a comedian? Certainly wasn't me. And that puts them in the back fix. I started out, I was writing, a bit of writing when I was still at a school for some comedy sketch shows that were in the go at the time, just as a wee kind of a hobby, and that progressed into me writing for other things like Naked Video, Naked Radio, BBC Scotland stuff, and even Joy of Joys, been able to get a wee couple of lines in on Only an Excuse, my pal Phil Differ's creation, when we could only actually get it in the audio version on the radio or on the tapes, and then of course it went on to the telly, and it's been there ever since. But so I started out with that, and then through that I got a wee start with Evening Times as a columnist in Glasgow, 1991. And the reason that worked is that I was a Motherwell fan writing in a Glasgow paper, so you were able to slag both Celtic and Rangers and have a bit of fun with them, you know, and you'd always mix it up, of course, as a day to this day, you know, so that gave me a right good start. What helped as well, the year that I started with Evening Times, a columnist, 1991, a weekly strip column, that of course was the year that we won the Cup. So for me, starting with them in January, we beat Aberdeen, third round of the Scottish Cup, and then of course we beat Falkirk and Morton, Celtic into the final. So it meant I always had hundreds of stuff to write about. And you know, because at that age and being inexperienced, you could have quite easily had the old writer's block or the blank page kind of hanging, panicking about what you were going to write. So that was a big help for me. So I'd always started out of that, and I've always tried to do it with a laugh. And even though today, stand-up shows and the thing I was doing on Sunday for Wraith Rovers, it was just...
Is that with McGlynn?
It was just an afternoon with Tam Cowan, and it was, the boys were saying, I didn't realise at the time, but it was 2 hours 20 minutes I did.
Just standing up on your feet.
And I enjoyed doing that, you know. And I suppose then would folks say, well, that's what a comedian does, but I'd never ever built myself as that. I always felt quite uncomfortable at that. But stuff that I've tried today, and I know that there'll be folk watching this saying, oh, you never have been funny and fuck you, you know. I've just tried to always keep it light, and that's it.
But you're sharp, innit? Like you're sharp as anything.
But well, it might be training then. It might be a wee bit of training. Because
I actually I done my own research last night. Me and Stuart were researching you, and I found a few clips of Off the Ball.
Right.
Sorry, Offside.
All right, offside.
Magnificent, by the way. See the stuff you got away with back then? Unbelievable,
I know.
But you look like a young Grado.
Well, hey, when you're talking about, you know, losing a wee bit of, this is the second time I've tried to lose a wee bit of weight. Back then, at the time of Offside, God, in one of the series, 2003-04, I came back after the summer, and folk either didn't recognise me, or some folk in the audience thought I was ill. I lost 6 stone in 6 months, right?
Why was that? Because you knew you were going to be on the telly?
I went to town. No, I came back for what was a boys' holiday, a proper boys' holiday in Las Vegas. And when I came back for that holiday, I was in some night, I was nudging 19 stone, right? And I thought, I need to get my finger out here. So I just went for it, and it was 3 things that I did. And see where we're passing in now, Strathclyde Park.
You got the car parks there late
instrumental. No. That was instrumental. And me losing a bit of beef. I used to, because I was still living in Motherwell at the time. And what I did, I stopped eating shite. That was the key, stop eating shite. And if anybody says, oh, what does that mean? Everybody knows if I put you 20 plates, numbered 1 to 20, and I said, right, 3 of them have got shite on them. What numbers is it? You'd be able to tell right away. It'd be the one with the Mars bars, or the one with the crisps, or the one with the chips and that, you know. So I stopped eating basically what you'd have called shite. I was a big beer drinker back then, so I stopped drinking beer, and back then the drink I went for then was vodka and Diet Iron Brew. That was my tipple. And then the third part of the plan, every morning I went down for where I lived in Motherwell, down into Strathclyde Park and walked round it twice.
I thought you were going to say ran, you walked round it?
Walked, that's all you need. See, for anybody that thinks, so I'm no one for running, or I couldn't do that. Don't do it, walk.
As long as it happens up, innit?
I'll just do it. It did me, well, that was, as I say, 6 stone in 6 months. So it was great. So when I came back for the next series, because we did Offside for 9 years, it was a long time to do.
Was it 9 years? How did it first come about, Offside? Was it your idea?
No, but it was basically in 1998. They were starting a new, you don't get them now, at the time, new satellite channels, BBC Choice Scotland, BBC Choice England, BBC Choice Wales, BBC Choice Northern Ireland. Now, a few years later, what they did with 8 channels, they all kind of merged into being BBC 3 and BBC 4, right? Right? But while they were regionalised and they were launched in 1998, it was the commissioning editor at the BBC at the time, Ewan Angus, who we'd been 3 years into the radio. I was just, in real terms, just a boy. And because the radio was going really well, Ewan, with these new channels, he was wanting to develop a bit of new talent in that. And he wanted me to do a telly show, basically. So so that was it. So we got the wee programme together, called it Offside. We did it for 2 years. Initially on that BBC Choice Scotland channel, we're doing a show every week, right throughout the football season for the telly. And then after the 2 years, and they knew that station was going to end, we got the wee promotion, if you like, up onto BBC One Scotland, 10:35 on a Monday night. Me and I'll Jock the Cock, me Johnny Watson, and it ran then for another 7 years on that channel. So
you had guests outside the football as well, didn't you? See, at times did they not know what was going on?
No. We would. I mean, guests outside football. We'd get guests outside Scottish football who were sometimes a wee bit bemused. Guys like Emlyn Hughes, the late great Emlyn Hughes. We had. He couldn't believe what we got away with. Here we are. There it is. Look, legendary. I still get a wee buzz when I come up here and see the Davy Cooper stand. That used to be the Fir Park Club, but it's Big Sammy that runs it now, Club 100. And then you come up here. So my usual drill now, I was actually saying it to your producer, and I'll tell you the story when we come round here, because normally it's busy the day, all the players are still in.
Paparazzi. And
that's that. Will be, it'll be, and a lot of maybe European press and all that, maybe looking to see what we're going to be about next season.
What a place.
But, so I would normally now
surely you've got
come
a spot
in here.
Tam,
well, you know what? I used to park up in the car park at the top of the street, right? Yeah. And then what happened earlier this season, right? Earlier this season, I'll show you exactly where I mean, when big Les Hutchison left the club, the boy had chucked some money in, right? Once he got his money back, it was his daughter Leanne that kind of was on the board on his behalf, and she had one of these parking spaces earlier. So see, when I knew she was leaving, I never ever, quite rightly, never take a bean out of Mull. I do other events from, but I would never ever charge them. And at the club, Alan Burrows, Suzanne, that does the commercial side of things, they're always saying, what can we do for you? What can I say? I don't want it, and I'm a fan. I could never have played for Motherwell. That's the second best thing, to get the mic and do their events and all that, and I enjoy doing them. But when I knew that Leanne was leaving, Leslie's daughter, she always had a wee parking space out there. So the minute she disappeared away to her dad with a cheque, there you go, Dad, that's Motherwell squared you up. I said to them, I says, is that wee parking space available? Because see the difference it makes for me on a Saturday. I said to you, I've never heard the final whistle. Instead of me having to leave extra early to get out, I sat in the main stand there out and up to the car park that's up at the top of that road. See, for me having a motor there, I just wheek out, and it means that I can even get Gallus wait to about 87 minutes. Because the trick is, see from the way out, that road at the electric bar and that, so see getting down there after a game, it's absolute chalk. I'd never get back in time for the radio. So
see, just on that, how important is it, even if you are in a hurry, not to speed on the way back?
Oh, I would never. No, I've
got 3 points, didn't you?
I've got 3 points on my licence, and I must say as well, that was at the bottom end of Perth, coming down. I was coming down the A9, and it was picked up then. It was at 2:10 in the morning. There was nothing on the road. I'm not making any excuses. I wasn't flying. You know, it was only a wee couple of miles an hour over the limit, and I got done with the camera, the average camera, whatever it was, and I thought, fair dues. But you know, the best thing about that, I think if everybody gets done with that once, you suddenly learn where your wee cruise control button is, and you think, you know what, just go on the road, set the cruise, and away you go.
That's what you pay money for, mate, the old cruise control and that. Just back on Offside, who was the more obscure guest you had on? Was there no talk of Peter Andre and Jordan coming on?
There was, but we did. Well delved there. I'd forgotten about them, but something happened. We couldn't get them. We get the big. Who's the big, heavy darts boy? Andy Sunday.
Oh, Andy Fordham.
Andy Fordham. He let us down badly one day. He was getting on the plane. Mind the size of him. He lost a lot of weight, but the size of him, he was walking up the steps to go into the plane in London, slipped a disc in his back, and couldn't get up. And see, when that happens, and you've got all stuff ready for them, you've got the dartboard in the studio and all that, because our shows were like as live.
Yeah.
I mean, we recorded them at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the Monday night, and we did them as live, half an hour, no fannying about. Only if a camera broke down or somebody said the C word. Jack Charnley did it once.
Did he, right?
Then you wouldn't edit anything. You just bash in, because to go out on the telly at 10:30, you know.
Could you not just put a beard on Chris Boyd and put him on?
See that? No. I'm going to stick up for
he's been on it.
Chris Boyd. Me and Stuart say it every week. We got our eyes open years ago, and he'd only just finished playing. Mark Yardley came on to off the ball for the first time ever, right? And because of what you hear fans shouting and all the rest of it, me and Stuart have done it ourselves, you're expecting some big heifer lump to come into the studio. But he was a big fat athlete. And you're saying it's just maybe he might have been a couple of ounces heavier than other players that you see, wee whippets like yourself. But he was a big fat man, and we thought, that shows all these football fans that are about, 23 staying, 8 4 pies at every game, they're shouting, you fat bastard, Now, have a look at yourself, mate. But,
right. And you had Hugh Dallas on the show.
Hugh Dallas, we got Hugh Dallas on.
Was it hard to get refs on? Because it took us ages to try and get a ref on.
No, Hugh's kind of, I know it was always Bonkle, that he famously, when they used to put up, I mean, they did that years ago when the highlights and all that of the game, they would put on in brackets where the referee came from.
No.
Was that before your time? I used to say, Willie Young, brackets Clarkston, I always remember he was Clarkston, Hugh Dallas, Bonkle, I tell you, and I think it was really just, don't give any maniacs half a clue where these guys live, you know what I mean? They stopped it. But so I'd kind of known Hugh, and he'd already by that point been out in a restaurant review. When I took him out in a restaurant review before a Scottish Cup final one year, so the review, it was getting the record that Saturday, the day of the Cup final. It was Hugh had been my guest. I wrote all about that and make sure you eat your carrots and all that, ha ha ha, right, all that part. And so I kind of known Hugh, and we got him on the telly. He was great, and my only memory is giving him a hard hat to wear and then chucking chocolate coins at him, because it wasn't long after that terrible carry on. But Hughie laughed about that. Aye, of course he did. Every day I've been blessed with that, and by and large the folk that I've had on shows, be it the telly, be it the radio, whatever it might be, they join in the fun, they have a laugh and a carry on. And honestly, I can't mind ever, after a show, everybody, you're talking about offside, when you're in the green room after it and you're always able to get a wee bottle of beer or that, not once did MD say, I'm not staying about for it, I'm fucking off, there was never any of that, They recognised what the programme was about. The hardest one that we had to start with one show, didn't think he was going to do it, was John Barnes, former Celtic boss. Now, it was a couple of years after he'd been slaughtered for his managerial spell at Celtic, but we got him on the show, and when he came in right at the start, I went out to meet him, and the first thing he says to me, can I see the script? And I thought, because we didn't actually do a script, we had bullet points and that. Yeah, a script wouldn't work, it'd be too stiff. I would do my wee monologue at the start with the jokes about the football that week and all that, and we would have some questions in mind for the guests, but it wasn't a script, it wasn't, So I says, John, I says, come on, we'll go and get a cup of tea, and I can certainly tell you a few things. We always tell the guests that, some of the things that we were going to ask them, just so that they could think of a wee story, like if you did the sort of stuff, you'll always ask them about guys in the dressing room and that. You want to put the idea in their head, so that they can think, I'll tell them that story, and that story, and it makes for a better programme. So, but when John came in, I said, John, I've not got a script, I'll talk you through everything. Oh no, I need to see a script, and I thought, he's going to walk out here. So I think then what had happened, maybe when he'd agreed to do the show, folk that he knew who were still up in Scotland who had watched the show, he'd maybe phoned him, a couple of them out says, watch, by the way, they might take a piss out of you or something like that, But he got the wrong end of the stick. He thought it wasn't going to be like Newsnight. I wasn't going to be there like Jeremy Paxman and try to get steamed into him and trying to embarrass him. It was just a laugh. So anyhow, it was amazing what relaxed him. When we did, I assured him, I says, John, it'll be absolutely fine, And we got on the show, we went to start the show, and a wee thing, and it was a clever move, a wee thing that we were going to do in the programme. If you remember the adverts he did at the time for Lucozade,
right?
And he kicked a can into the waste paper basket,
right?
He volleyed it and he got it in. We were going to recreate that in the studio. No, it wasn't going to be a wee bit later on in the programme, but I remember at the time we says, Mum, we'll make that earlier. And we did make it earlier in the show. We got him to do it. And joy of joys, he did it first time, kicked it right, and see the minute he did that, he just relaxed, and then
was he a good guest after it?
He's brilliant. He apologised after it, says sorry for giving you any hassle, but I didn't quite know what the show was going to be, but I enjoyed that,
How good is it when you get somebody like Jim White, who's, I've interviewed him, he's up for getting the piss taken out of him?
Jim, absolutely. When I started out in the paper, Jim on Scott Sport all the time, and the Brian Loudrick, why are you so good and all that. Jim was easy cannon fodder for me, right, as a wee columnist that's trying to be cheeky and all that. And then in 1996, first telly I ever did, I was asked to do a show on STV called A Game of Two Halves. right? Me, a team captain, 2 guests, another team captain, Tony Roper, and 2 guests, right?
Right.
Jim White presented it, and it was just a piss take and all that, you know, just a laugh. But God, I mind getting in for the first time when I was going to meet Jim White for the first time, and I thought, I've slaughtered this guy, you know. And I always remember he came out to me in STV, a big solemn face. Mr. Cowan. And I went, oh no, and he put out his on, started laughing. He says, oh, I fucking love the stuff that you do in the paper.
Brilliant.
And you know what, he was the best ever. See me when to do the first programme, he knew I'd have been nervous, first ever telly I'd done, and he says to me at the start, he says, you know what I want you to do? Fucking slaughter me right throughout the programme, go for me non-stop. He says, that's what the audience will want, you know what I mean? It was great. So he was brilliant. And then with Jim, doesn't drink now, of course, you know, you last interviewed him, but back in the days he wasn't, we'd go after it. Normally we would record the day programmes on a Wednesday night, they went out on a Thursday night, down to it was normally the Riverboat Casino in Glasgow, down there after it for a good scoop and all that, and then Jim would go mad with the tables and all that, get pissed, tap money off you, and then you'd never see it again. But because he was giving me my wee break, I was too. I think I did these shows for
how much drink is on you?
I get okay, whatever it would have been for 2 series of that they programmes, and I barely had 2 halfpennies to rub together as well. But no, it was great. I wouldn't have swapped that for him. Jim was a lovely guy, and from now, time to time, I still drop my wee text, whatever he's been in the news for or whatever he's been up to. But good lad.
You ever get a pint with any big names that was on that show?
We had Frank Carson, who was on the same night we had James Grady on. James Grady absolutely loved him. What we did the night, we got Frank on, an absolute legend who sadly died just 3 or 4 years ago there at 85. Absolutely brilliant stand-up comedian, legendary, world famous, and when we managed to get him booked, the trick was that when you get a big name like that booked and you thought he's going to dominate the show, and it is only half an hour and you couldn't fuck about, it was as live. When we got Frank Carson on, we thought, right, we just need a wee football guy for that week, somebody that's been in the news maybe for something or other. And the reason we get James Grady, that was the week, and a Celtic Partick Thistle game. It was on Channel 5 for some reason, it was weird. Channel 5 for a while did the League Cup in Scotland, I think just for 1 season, but it was on live. Somebody, whoever the Celtic left back was at the time, tugged at wee James's shorts, and the camera was right there behind the goals, and out came the wee Willie, right, with the wee ginger pubes and all that, right? So we thought, right, that's enough, that's all we need. And I knew James would had him on the radar. I says, we'll get James Grady in as a wee extra guest. Frank Carson will dominate. But the way we did it was I get James on first, and I tell him, I warned him, I says, James, see when it comes to the end of your interview, I'm going to say, right, James, you're a guy that likes a laugh and a joke. You got a wee gag for us? And I says, just tell us the worst joke you can think of, a knock-knock joke, a Christmas cracker joke, right? I says, it'll work a treat, right? And he went, right, aye, okay. So we finished the interview with him, and I said, James, you got a joke for us? And he went, aye, knock-knock, who's there? Lydia Teapot. And the audience were just silent, right? I thought, oh, he's played a blinder there, right? And then, voice for the gods, we says, and going to have a substitution there for offside, going off, number 9, James Grady. And I says, you got to go, wee man. He went out, walked out the tunnel. We hadn't tell the audience this bit, right? Who the guest was then. And coming on, substitute for offside, number 14, Frank Carson. So the audience, they're all in, saying, what the fuck's going on here, right? And out walked Frank Carson in the tunnel we had into the, and I just haunt Frank Carson about, well, the reception he got, right, standing ovation. And I had actually goosebumps there just thinking about it. And he got the mic and we'd tell Frank in advance, just for 5-10 minutes, just do your gags in front of the audience. And all the audience were pushing themselves, So we got him sat down, we got James back, and the best bit of it was the clip we had of James with the bobby out, right? We tell Frank we were going to show him this clip when he sits down. We got James back out, 2 of them are sitting there. James is in his element having a ball, and I says to Frank at one point, Frank, we showed the clip earlier, do you want to see this again? What'd you make of that? And we put up the clip of James with the bobby out, and Frank, he'd gone to the trouble of getting us for the props department, right? He didn't tell us about it. He reached behind the sofa and he took out a pair of binoculars, right? Pair of binoculars, and he looked up at his screen with James bobby out, and he looked at me, he says, it's a what? James, honestly, fair play to me, James. He was rolling about,
Brilliant.
And you know what? When you say about having a drink with folk after it, wow. We took Frank, when you get somebody like Frank Carson, and did MD coming up to England or for Ireland, I think he lived down in near Blackburn or somewhere. But anyway, when you had somebody like that, you obviously put them up overnight and all that, so the opportunity was there to have a wee drink. And that's one of my greatest memories ever. I could greet just at the thought of it. We took Frank back into the green room, and as long as we would just sit there filling his red wine, he loved the red wine, right? Me, the rest of the folk at work on the show, you know, a couple of family and friends, and the numbers get less and less as the night got on. But as long as we just give him a topic, he'd tell you jokes about it. We'd top his last, right, Frank, cowboys, 10 jokes about cowboys. Monkeys, 10 jokes about monkeys. Amazing. Motors, 10 jokes, you know, and I was in my absolute element. So he was great. Also, the other good one with that was in terms of after, we used to go down, sadly the pub's no longer there. Anybody was staying up for a drink, we'd sometimes just have a few in the green room, and then we go down Byers Road to a wee bar, it was there called Bonham's. Right. I don't know if you were ever in that, just next to Hillhead Underground, right? Cracking wee bar, and when I think some of the guys that we'd been in there with, Graham Taylor, ex-England manager, Paolo Nutini.
Did Paolo Nutini come on the show, did he?
Aye. Who else did we have? We didn't, because it's no my style of music. Just because his mum and dad get the chip shop and all that in Paisley. I just talked to him about the chip shop on it.
But obviously it's a travelling show as well. Favourite away journey supporting Motherwell? You got one?
Oh, I just thought you meant favourite journey. I was going to... My favourite journey, just meant my favourite journey.
Right, what's your favourite journey? Anyway?
Up the A82 from Glasgow, up to Glencoe and on to Fort William.
Oh, beautiful. I've seen it on your Instagram the other week.
Absolutely stunning, honestly. My favourite away football journey, what I like, you know what I'm saying, the away... I'm gubbed with the away games if they're on a Saturday. And a dream world, a wee bit of frost on a Saturday when we're due to play Aberdeen at home. Gets the game put off, it gets played on a Wednesday night. I'm able to go up at my leisure during the day, maybe even make a wee night out in Aberdeen, couple of my pals, maybe they'll take the Thursday morning at least, maybe the whole Thursday off. And I love Aberdeen for a night out, you know. And I like all the bars and all that up there. I think and the people are dead nice. And I love going to Pittodrie.
I'm going to the wrong fucking bits of Aberdeen.
You must be. You're just doing it at the harbour,
right? Peterhead does that the same thing now.
Aye.
No fancy night up there. I'll get you up there.
You know, I've never actually been to Peterhead. Never been. What am I missing? Right, good fish supper. Aye.
Oh, fish supper's tremendous. Our kit man's got his own chippy up there.
Is that right?
I'll bring you one, all right, next time I'm on. Right, pick a dream car share, 4 passengers in your motor. Anyone. Entertainment, football, you pick.
4 in the motor. Right, I would need to have Dead or Alive.
Yeah, Dead or Alive.
Right, well, the guy that I never got to meet, and I talk about him every single week in the radio, Davy Cooper. And we're just coming up to the 25th anniversary. He's absolutely sad passing. So I'd have Davy Cooper, because I absolutely idolise the guy. He was brilliant. He's the best player I've ever seen in a Motherwell jersey. Just what he brought to Fir Park was just phenomenal. And the guy that stand's named after, Phil O'Donnell, if dear old Phil could be here to tell us about what Davy Cooper did for him, you know, being on the left side of the pitch and having a guy like Cooper to really bring him on when he was a young boy. Tommy Boyd would tell you that as well. Tommy charging up and down the left flank, you know. Wee Dougie Arnott, you know, the wee reverse balls that Davy Cooper played in for defence splitting passes for wee Dougie to score. So Davy Cooper, because I never met him, but I talk about him every week. I'd have him sitting right there in the front.
Just on that, what was Phil O'Donnell like as a guy?
Quiet as a mouse, very humble. The only real dealing I had with Phil, apart from some of the Motherwell events and stuff, it was incredible, and it summed him up as a man. It was something I was helping promote them, the club, something at the club shop, right? And it was me, Phil O'Donnell, Richie Foran, it was Phil's second spell at the club, and another player, and just a wee photo of son at the club shop. And I just happened to mention it after. It was a Monday afternoon, and I said that I was going out to Hamilton to meet some pals. They were there for a drink, the wee sing-song in the pub and that. And Phil says, well, I'll give you a run there. And just because I'm a fan, I was like, wee boy, I'm going to be in Phil O'Donnell's motor, you know. So he gave me a run there, and rather than me, he didn't. He just kept asking me, so how are you getting on, Tam? How's work going? How's the family? He didn't want to talk about himself. You know, I was wanting to bore him daft probably about the Scottish Cup final and all that, you know, but very, very humble man. He just wanted to ask me about how I was getting on. That is brilliant. And honestly, one of the again, highlights in my career, when we did the inaugural, that means the first one.
Right, okay.
When we did the inaugural Hall of Fame Motherwell night, tail end of last year, Phil was in it, the Hall of Fame posthumously, sadly, and it was his daughter Megan and his boy Luke who came up to get the award. And boy, see when they came up, no a dry eye in the house, you know
Were
what
you
I mean?
in tears as well?
So I wasn't greeting, but then when I started trying to talk, I couldn't speak, and it was a wee bit, you know, and it just got me to see the reaction that his kids got, you know, because it was brilliant. And I mean, the funeral, God Almighty, Phil's funeral at our in Hamilton, it was like an A to Z, not just a Scottish football, British football, you know what I mean? All the faces that come up, you knew every face as they're all piling into the church, and the Dundee United players always remember that because they, of course, that's who we were playing.
Game, yeah.
When Phil collapsed on the pitch, and they boys were brilliant. They came out, I think, doing in their trackies and all that, and they got a great ovation for everybody that was outside. It was brilliant. It was, I always say, I've tried to say it, I said to her at the time, Eileen, Phil's wife, and I said to his 2 kids that night, I said, if there was any comfort to be taken out of such a tragedy, they must have been bursting with pride, glowing with pride when they look back at the funeral. On the day they would have been shattered and they'd been away with it, you know, of that there's no doubt. But see if they to look back now, the clips, they must be sat in there, thank God.
Overwhelmed.
But what about a turnout for Philip, you know?
Amazing, what a guy. 3 more we need.
3 more.
Passengers.
Well, the guy that, I don't know, I keep thinking we might get him on our show one of these days, and he's only just announced there that he's never doing stand-up again. The funniest man on the planet, Billy Connolly. Funniest man on the planet. The one thing you can guarantee with Billy Connolly, and whoever I tell this to, they always agree with me. If you see Billy Connolly live, if you watch him on the telly, if you see him in a chat show, if you watch one of his old VHSs or one of his old DVDs, the one thing about Billy Connolly, and you can't say this about, I think, any other comedian, there's always at least one bit in it when you know you'll be reduced to tears of laughter. There's always with Billy, there's always that, you know. And I had the pleasure of seeing him live twice. Once in Motherwell as well. He was doing a bit of filming it. You'll see one of the plays that he'd done, the TV dramas, you know.
That must have been when he was struggling.
It was no, just that they were filming it up here.
Okay.
So he thought, I'll chuck in a wee performance doing it at the Civic Centre. And me, in the back of the motor, because I didn't drive then, one of my mates at the wheel, a quiz I used to run for my mate in a hotel in Motherwell. We were back in my mate's motor after it one night, dropping some of the boys off. One of the boys was driving, and we nearly killed Billy Connolly.
No way.
About 500 yards from here, round at Catherine Street, right? Billy Connolly, as I say, because he was doing filming, bit of late night filming. My mate's driving his back, doting his off round about here, and out of nowhere in the dark, this fucking vision just ran out in front of us. It was like a deer or something, if you know, and fucking screeched on the brake. We got a wee wave to the person as if to say sorry, and we drove on. And it was only as we drove on, it's that I looked round. It's fucking Billy Connolly. So can you imagine the reaction? I would have got to blame it, because I would have been the only one at the end who would have known in the motorway. I had to do a headline out of me. Tam Cowan kills Billy Connolly. Can you imagine? You'd have had to emigrate to Porto or something, you know what I mean?
Do you know everyone we've had on here has picked Billy Connolly?
I know. So Davy Cooper for the football, Billy Connolly in the back, just behind me there, and that's room for what? One more?
2 more.
Or 2 more, one more. No, who would I go with 2 more? Right, I've covered football, I've covered comedy.
Singer,
I'm going to see him in May this year, and by the time he goes on stage on Tuesday, May the 26th, at the Royal Concert Hall in Glasgow, he'll be 84. He's an absolute legend, Engelbert Humperdinck. I just think he's got one.
Tell me cuando.
See? That means when.
Does that right? What, in Spanish?
It never sounds as good though.
Nah.
Tell me when. No, cuando sounds better, doesn't it? But brilliant voice, even to this day. But that's through years of doing like Vegas shows and all that, and playing to the ladies and all that, and pulling out the wee silk hankies.
I thought you were going to say pulling out someone else.
No. Chucking out the wee and that. But it's the voice. I wasn't allowed to play any music on this, but in my Spotify on the phone, that's why I love sitting in a motor. But for technical reasons, we couldn't have any music. But it's chock full on my playlists. Engelbert and that. Just a brilliant voice, and they're the songs that I'd sing. Absolutely brilliant. So I would put him top of the pile, even above the other guys that I really like, whose music I listen to: Frank Sinatra, Mark Monroe, Dean Martin, Tony Bennett, all the guys, the crooners and all that, you know. Scotland's very own Sydney Devine, close personal friend. I love Sydney to bits. But Engelbert, in terms of the voice and the song choice, very important. I would go with him every time.
What about the young Scottish What do you think of Capaldi, Jerry Cinnamon, guys like that? No,
Capaldi, my boy.
He is, you, isn't he?
I know, everywhere I go. Did you have a night out in Whitburn, Tam, about 22 years ago? You know, he does look like me, and he actually even recently.
He's got a good pattern as well. He could be yours.
He's a bit of a dude. I'd love first of all to get him on off the ball. I'd love to do that with him. You know, and then we could have a laugh about that if he was my boy or no. But I must admit, I'm not really into I stopped being into the modern music when you stopped having to be into it. I.e. the school discos,
right?
When you had to know a wee bit about it for any of half a chance a wee dance with one of the lassies, you know what I mean? So I'm getting back. The halcyon years for me with the pop music would have ended with the likes of Duran Duran and Spandau Ballet and all them. You know, see when you certainly tapped into the 90s. Not interested. That was that.
Right, we've got one more.
Oh, one more. Right. So what have I covered? I'm trying to do it well for you.
You've covered football, comedy, and music. Maybe fashion since you're sewing it.
Because I've got a hoodie tap on. No, who would I have?
We'll get a woman in there.
Oh, absolutely. In this day and age, we better tick all the right boxes. Who would we have in there? Who would I be fascinated to have a chat with? I would go. Right, here's a left field one, right? Just because the films. A genre of film that I always watched, always enjoyed, and watched them any time they creep up still on ITV4. The Carry On films.
I knew you were going to say Barbara Windsor.
Barbara, let's chuck in Babs. Poor soul, she's not that well now. So, get Barbara Windsor in the back to tell us what it was like working with Sid James, who I absolutely adored. Kenneth Williams, all the guys, Scotland's very own Jimmy Logan,
Steve
who popped up in a few of them. Of course, you've got EastEnders mob as well. I wasn't even thinking of that. That's not a bad motor.
That's a great motor.
So it's Davy Cooper, Barbara Windsor, Billy Connolly, and Engelbert Humperdinck all in the motor.
That could be the most star-studded motor we've had.
Could be. The motor, incidentally, went up in value this week by £2,000.
This motor?
Aye.
Why?
Aye.
You got a joke here? Oh, he's gone mad,
I can't tell you where I got it. You think they've got good gear up in Peterhead? Got nothing as good as that. I was trying to get to the boat. I went into the chemist last week, and I said to Lassie, I says, what have you got that will get rid of the coronavirus? And she said, ammonia cleaner. And I said, oh, sorry, I thought you were a pharmacist.
Oh, tremendous. Right, just quickly on to the restaurant reviews, Tam.
Oh, aye.
That is a dream job, isn't it?
Well, it was. It was savagely taken away from me in June when I left the Scottish Sun. That was print. I'm sadly printing. I'm a big newspaper fan, and I'd 29 years in newspapers. Sadly, the print. When do you ever go anywhere now in a pub and see papers lying about? You know, everything's going online and digital now. So I'm afraid that the industry's struggling a wee bit. And as of last June, I was probably deemed an expendable luxury as a columnist. I think, to be fair, when I was getting punted, they probably knew that I've got other strings to my bow, and they weren't putting me in the scrap heap or anything like that, you know,
weren't going to
point me in the direction of the food banks or anything like that. So that was it. You take that in the chin. I had a couple, there was a few folk got in contact with me when I finished with that and said, is that you? Are you available? And all that, you know. Except still papers out there. I had one concrete offer, but you know what? I'm not really missing it.
No, you know
I keep myself busy.
You must have had some great grub though.
I mean, it was great. I mean, but because, you know, here's the trick. Because of the decline of the print newspapers, I still walk into restaurants and folk assume, because they don't read papers, that I'm still doing the reviews, you know, because they've heard me. And it's amazing how a wee table suddenly becomes available in an otherwise full restaurant, or how this wee bottle of wine might just appear. Oh, there you are, Mr. Cowan. You know, so that has been terrific. Peter Hartley.
There he is.
Have you had Tim?
No, I've not had him. Played against him when he was at Hartley.
I better move to let him out.
I better let him out, eh? Good player, isn't he?
Aye.
Gives his lot, doesn't he? What's the best? What was the best meal you had with
that? The best meal?
Remember?
Probably the one with Nick Nairn. You know Nick Nairn, Scottish chef.
Yes.
And the reason it was the best meal, Nick knew the score when I went and did his restaurant. I'm just driving up here to where I used to park, alright, and I'll show you what I mean.
That's the school where all the players park, innit?
Aye, up here in the Saturday, the hospitality folk and that. So they originally let me into this one.
Pronsani Brigade park
but
up
even
here,
for here, because you sometimes need to go away around the back, I'll show you where I often park, and you'll understand how you know, every minute counts. You know, I'm not wanting to miss. I'm a fan. I'm not wanting to miss goals or miss big chunks of the game. So, and at the time I arrive, remember, if it's hospitality, say these were all hospitality motors on a Saturday, it's packed because they're all in the ground for 1 o'clock or whatever. You know, I'm getting here at like about 10 to 3. So if I use this car park, what I would then have to do, I'd need to get away round here, and this would all be full of motors as well, right? I would need to drive.
This is not what you're after.
All the way round, and you imagine as well in the piss and rain. So I'm going to have to drive back as well into the BBC, soaked, crab it. So I need to still get right round here. There you go, I'd need to wade through this as well, a wee bit of flooding in it.
Dearie me, man.
I would need to get right round here, right?
Nah, this is no use.
And, God, this is really bad.
Have you not got a parking space at the Mega Bar as well, sir?
At the Mega Bar? Oh, the Mega Bar's gone.
Oh, is it
sadly.
gone?
Aye. That was a dancing one.
Some of my best days as a
Is that right?
young kid. I used to stay in Hamilton. We used to go to the Mega Bar every Saturday.
Aye, that's gone.
Wild,
right,
innit?
so I would park in here.
Right.
These are the first available spaces. So that would be, well, it's a 10-minute walk. And that's 10 minutes longer that I could watch the game. So when they were able to allow me into that wee space at the front of the stand, then I thought, oh, thank you very much.
Quite right, mate. As you say, you've gave them a lot. Do you know what I mean? What's a parking space?
I'm a supporter. It's I enjoy doing the stuff like that, and they enjoy having me. So that's what it's all about.
Back on the races. What's the worst review you've ever given?
This place in Glasgow. Went to review it, and I remember getting in at the start, into review it, and my other, whoever my guest was, by the way, pals, colleagues, anything like that. Aye, whenever whoever I took with me, that was the best thing. That was the best thing. See, if I was still doing it, you should get yourself in tow with me and come out. Because bear in mind, whoever came with me to a restaurant review, my guests, they got all the best side. They get the meal, they got the drink, but they didn't have to write 1,200 words in a review, you know. So they get the good side of it. So it was, can't mind who it was somebody for the paper at the time I was with that night. I went in, and I remember saying to the waitress as we walked in this place, can we take our jackets? No. She actually said no. What's that all about? Hung the jackets out the back of the seat. I remember then the meal, it was pretty poor. It was basically meant to be an Italian restaurant, but it was like Russians that owned it.
Right.
And I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. So, asking for something, I remember as well, same waitress with the pasta says, can I get some black pepper? No. Didn't have black pepper, right, in a so-called Italian restaurant, right? So it was murder anyhow. I slaughtered it in the paper. The day after it went in the paper, I was told by the lasses that worked at reception at the Record, a taxi pulls up outside, a guy gets out in the chef's whites, right, and they check trousers, you know, they check trousers, wearing the big Crocs, they always wear the Crocs, and he gets out, clearly the chef for the restaurant I'd slaughtered, he was seen getting into his pocket, taking out a half bottle of vodka, one last wee bit of Dutch courage, and then he steamed into the front desk at the paper demanding to see me. Now, in all my years in newspapers, I've never ever worked in the office, always worked from home, you know. So they tried to explain that to him, he's going off his nut and everything, and I want to know where he lives, I want to, and they weren't going to give out my address or anything like that, obviously, you know. But enough he's not, ended up calling security and getting them hooked out and all that. So he didn't take it too well.
I thought he brought the black pepper back.
No, no, I didn't take too kindly to it, shall we say.
What about owners? You had owners phoning you up as well?
I was asked to leave a restaurant. This was awful. I wouldn't even give them any sort of publicity. But I was in there, me, the wife, and my wee girl was only a baby at the time. And we were in this particular place, and as we were looking at the menu, I recognised like the wee logo in the back of the menu. I thought, oh, this is part of a group, and I'm sure I've done one of these restaurants before. Turns out I had. I had gone out for a pee between courses. I was coming back to the table, and I had a guy saying, Mr. Cowan. And I looked and I thought it'd be some guy like talking about the football, son, or the radio, right? And I went, aye, how are you doing? And he introduced himself as the owner of the place. He says, I would like you to leave. He says, there will be no bill, but there will definitely be no review. And I says, well, if there was no bill, mate, there never is a review. That was all the deal. I always paid. Everybody thought, oh, you get free food and all that.
Oh, you paid, did you?
No, you get it reimbursed by the paper. It's your job, you know. But at the time, you always get the credit card down, paid the bill, and then that's you. You can then do a review. The minute you've paid the bill, transaction has been made, you're free to do what you want, right? So I says to the boy, I says, what's your problem? And he told me about this restaurant. It was all coming back to me about the restaurant I'd been to previously, part of his group that he owns. And I says, whoa. I says, I remember that. For what I remember, I talked up the service, I talked up the decor, I talked up the toilets, and I talked up the value for money. They all got a good mark. The main thing though, the food was a low mark because it was poor. And I says, that's no my fault. Don't know why you're having a go at me, that's your chef's fault. The same you should be crab at me, you know. Oh no, you slaughtered. I says, no, I didn't. He thought I wouldn't remember, you know. And I went through everything. I says, right, you know what? I'll happily leave. I'll happily no give you a review. I says, I'm just going in to leave a tip for your waiter. No his fault that I was getting put out. Made sure I gave the boy a tenner. And I says to my wife, I says, come on, we'll need to go. She says, well, I'll tell you in the motor. And away we went, right? So I was very much of that attitude. I thought, fuck them, you know, and that was it. But the joy of joy is what I did, because I wasn't going to do the review. And my next column later that week, I did this bit in my column, at the front end of the paper in the Record, and I says, well, what a restaurant I was at this week, ladies and gentlemen. The food was top notch. I says the scenery was out of this world. The staff was great. Yeah, and then I said, but I can't tell you where it is. Because they didn't want me to review it. And I thought, I just hope you fucking read that. You know what I mean? Because he'd got it wrong. And see, to be honest with you, I even got a wee bit of criticism about this at the time, about saying, oh, Tam, you're a food critic, and I says, no, I'm a restaurant reviewer. Because folks say, what do you know about the food? And I've never claimed to be a chef or anything like that. There's a difference between a food critic, somebody that really knows their stuff and knows about one type of tomato for another and where the avocados were sourced and that, you know. That's maybe up at that level. I was always a restaurant reviewer. And when I started at my editor at the time, I'd said, we want you to be like Joe Bloggs, who goes into a restaurant. 99.999% of folk get into a restaurant are Joe Bloggs. They're just looking for a decent meal, nice place, not too hefty a bill, and a good night out, you know. And that's the way I'd always done them. So as a result of that, I wasn't really doing it to fucking snap at folk and try to shut them down or anything like that. Far from it. Nothing gave me greater pleasure if I could talk up a nice wee Scottish restaurant, talk it up to the high heavens and do the folk a turn, you know. Right. That's what it was all about.
Last question.
Yes.
Stephen Robinson. Can he go higher level? Can he be a top
Well,
manager?
again, at the time, I mean, I'm astonished that the two we thought if he doesn't get one, he's going to get the other, and the jobs came up quite close to each other. Hibs and Hearts. Yeah. Motherwell fans can't believe it. He's known one of their dugouts now. That was incredible. And then, of course, I think you can maybe correct me as we're waiting the Northern Ireland job. They're still waiting to announce that.
Waiting to announce it.
He's always mentioned one of the bookies' favourites for that. And but knowing what he's like, a wee buzz bomb, and what a wee character is, and a great talker, and always moving about and always doing stuff. I don't think an international job would be the one for him.
Too young?
Where he's too young. He's got all the big weeks in between games. And he's not getting a day-to-day with the players.
Coaching, you're right.
Absolutely. So I would love to see him just staying here. That would be great. He's the man, and I think he'll take us into Europe this year.
Tam, as always, absolute pleasure. Thank
you very
much.
A pleasure. Thank you very much.
What a man. In the time it takes to score a goal, you can also lose control. Don't speed, drive smart.